Hey, babe, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good. We're sitting here at the table with Bethany and Eric. Say hey, Bethany and Eric, and Tater, who just shook.
Hello.
Hello.
So we're here. We just finished our Thanksgiving weekend with everybody. So I want to kind of go around the table and see when it comes to Thanksgiving and Christmas and that kind of stuff, like what is your favorite? Well, let's just stick with Thanksgiving. What's your favorite part of Thanksgiving?
You want me to go first? Mm-hmm. I think my favorite part is how we play games, like all different kind of games. And we just like stay up playing or wake up and start playing games. And because when it's just Eric and I, we don't play games because it's just the two of us. So it's really nice to just like play new games or like some of our favorite games. So that's my favorite part.
Eric?
I just like getting to be with family, do everything, get to cook, play games, hang out, watch TV, stay up late, bonfires. It's just all about hanging out with some people you don't get to see that often.
All right, babe.
Specifically this weekend, it was probably the meal. Like everybody kind of pitched in. That's Tater. Yeah. That's my grand dog, y'all.
There's Tater.
Everybody kind of pitched in and made something, and it was just kind of cool.
Yeah.
How it all came together, and the food was amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think this year was pretty special. We got to all come down, and actually, I want to talk about this too for a second. This was Bethany and Eric, it was your first time to host Thanksgiving. So that is my favorite part, is just coming here and seeing the torch kind of pass to the new generation. So what did you learn from this experience, Bethany?
Hang on, I just want to say something real quick.
Sorry.
So we've been here like 3 days, and Tater's not played with a squeaky toy at all. And now we've decided to do this podcast, and she's going around the house trying to find every toy she can that has a squeaker in it.
She does that when you get on the phone, too.
She just wants to be part of the podcast.
She's killing me.
What was the question?
We got one
I know,
more.
she has one more. Was it how it was?
Yeah, what was like...
what did I learn?
Yeah, what did you learn from hosting your very first Thanksgiving for the whole family?
Okay, what I think I really learned is like, you guys are a mess. Our house is so clean and so beautiful. And then within like 30 minutes, I can barely walk around.
I told Mom on our last podcast that my favorite thing about being an adult is coming into your house and destroying your house like you used to do our house when y'all were little.
I mean, yeah.
Now I will say it's like a bragging moment here. So Bethany and Eric closed on their house November 1st, right? Or October 31st.
No, November 1st.
So they closed on their house November 1st, and she had everything, or they, mainly she, probably,
Eric.
had everything unpacked, placed where it needed to go, organized, and clean, spotless when we got here on Wednesday. So for her to have that done from November 1st to, what was it, November 26th?
Oh, it's been unpacked since like November 4th because I have anxiety.
But anyway, for her to just get that done while they're working full time and everything else, I thought that was kind of impressive.
Yeah. Eric, did you do anything?
Not a damn thing.
You can't say bad words.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
All right, so that's enough of that. But today's episode, we are going to be talking about specifically Bethany and some of her life stories because it's her birthday week. And so we are going to do that after
The bumper. Welcome to Loving Our 25 to Life. I'm Heather.
And I'm Bo. Together we've been married over 25 years.
Yeah, baby!
And this is where we talk about life, love, and all the adventures we have had along the way.
Oh, wow.
Whether we're sharing stories from our marriage or taking you along one of our trips, we're here to reflect on how we've made it this far and where we are headed next.
So grab a seat, settle in, and let's dive into another episode of Loving Our 25 to Life.
It's my birthday. I'm going to be 25 this year. Isn't that insane?
That is insane.
You have a 25-year-old.
So what blows my mind the most about that is, first of all, I remember being 25. And secondly, I was a little bit younger than that when I had Bethany, which for those of you that don't know the story, Bo and I got married in May of 98. And we've known each other for a long time. So about 3 months in our marriage, we were like, you know what? I think we're just ready to go ahead and start having a family. And, so I stopped taking the birth control pill.
Wait, how many months?
About 3.
Oh my gosh.
So I was like, I'm just ready to have a baby. And of course I was like 23, but I thought I was 50. I don't know. I was crazy. And about the first month into not taking the pill, we decided we changed our minds and we weren't ready to be parents yet. But it was too late because I found out one day, well, I guess it was for more than 3 months, probably 6 months. I don't know. Anyway, I found out the day before our 1-year anniversary, which would have been in May of 99, that I was pregnant with Bethany. So it wasn't really an accident, but it was... Tater wants to be on this podcast so bad.
Did you put her up?
No, she's fine. So anyway, I told Bo one day before our first anniversary, and he was so excited, and I was so nervous and scared. And so her due date was January 21st of 2000, which ironically is Eric's birthday. So I thought that was really cool. But Bethany came on December 11th because I guess she just got tired of hanging out. So she decided to come 6 weeks early, and
she's always been an overachiever.
Yeah, she has kind of always been. But she was 5 pounds, 1 ounce when she was born and had to stay in the hospital for about 2 weeks. We brought her home 2 days before Christmas. And
life's been beautiful ever since.
Beautiful ever since. So what's your favorite memory of her being like a baby, like that first year we brought her home? We were so nervous. We didn't take her out of the house till February because she was such a preemie.
I don't know if this is my favorite memory, but I remember with our first kid, you overdo everything. So I remember, I don't know if it was a doctor or somebody told us that we needed to keep the house super warm. So we kept it like 88 degrees the whole time. And then I remember every time she would drop a pacifier or something, we would boil it and we overdid it. So by the time Joshua came along, I would drop it on the floor of like McDonald's and just pick it up and put it back in his mouth. But Bethany, we would boil them and overdo everything. And like we would I remember fixing up her formula. And if it was too high, we'd start over. It was all.
Do you think that you were nervous, or do you think mom was nervous and it was like rubbing off on you?
Oh, no. Your dad was definitely way more nervous than I was.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He was afraid he was going to break you.
You're just so chill. I figured you'd be like...
When she was born, her head could fit in my palm, and where the break of my elbow is, her feet wouldn't even touch that. So, I could literally hold her.
You were a tiny little human.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So my favorite thing was when we would take naps and she would take naps on my chest. That was the coolest thing. But one of my funniest memories was Tater's cracking me up.
I mean, literally.
She literally has
she hasn't played in 3 days.
We've been here since Wednesday, and this is Saturday night. She hasn't played one time. Now she's playing with everything under the couch, everything in the kitchen.
All by herself, too.
She's perfectly fine, though.
But one of my funny stories was when she was a baby. She was probably about 3 or 4 months old. I worked an office job, and I think you did youth ministry and other stuff. So
I was in school, too.
Yeah, you were in school. So you were home more than I was. And one day I called to check on y'all, and this was before we had texting. So I had to actually pick up the phone and call your dad. And I was like, hey, babe, what are y'all doing? Just checking on you because, I was one of my first few days away from you, and I was nervous. Whatever. Because, Bethany and I are just sitting here watching Divorce Court at 3 months old. So that gave me a lot of faith in how your dad was going to babysit.
We've been tight ever since.
Yep. I remember the most disappointed I've ever been in Bethany.
Oh gosh.
Was you could probably tell me more than I can, but she was over a year old, right, when she first started walking.
Oh, she was almost 2 when she first
Yeah,
started
so-
walking.
I went, and here's the thing about Bethany: she would not take a few steps and fall, take a few steps and fall, take more steps and fall. She never would walk at all. Period. I go to work one day and I come back and she runs down the driveway to give me a hug. And I was like, what the heck?
Like, we bought her special shoes and everything because we really thought she couldn't walk. We had to, we'd taken her to
so
specialists.
it's not that she couldn't walk. She just wouldn't try it until she knew for a fact she could do it.
I'm still like
So
that.
I go to work one morning and she's not walking. I come home that day and she runs down the driveway.
in her little special shoes.
Runs down the driveway to give me a hug.
What did you say? Did you cry?
Yeah, it was weird because you didn't walk and now all of a sudden you're running and not like, you know how toddlers will walk and
Yeah.
stumble and fall. No, you ran down the driveway like you've been doing it for 5 years.
And then did I just keep?
Yeah, you never
Yeah,
fell.
I
from
never
that
fell.
day forward,
Huh.
you just kept on.
We think you were practicing at night in your crib.
Yeah.
You didn't want us to see you until you could do it
Mom and Dad are
perfectly.
going to be so mad if I can't do it perfectly.
So what do you think is your earliest memory? Like Joshua tells us all the time he could remember things from when he was like 2 or 3, but what do you feel like is your earliest memory?
I honestly don't know. I don't know. I don't think I can remember. Like Joshua can remember like 2 days after being born, but I don't.
He actually says he remembers being born.
I know.
He really does.
He probably does too. I don't know. I have this weird memory and I think about it a lot, but I remember standing at the top of the stairs and I don't know if this ever happened or if it was just a dream, but Dad looked at me and he was like, he said something about like, come here, teddy bear. And I was like, going to him. And then he was like, you're not my teddy bear. Mom's my teddy bear. And then like, I just remember being sad that like, I was like, I'm not yours, but Mom is, which now like, he was probably joking. But
Where would we have?
I don't know.
Where would we
didn't
have
have
been
stair-
where we were at the top of?
We
were
didn't
at the
have
top of
stairs until we
I
moved
don't
to
know.
Carnes.
Yeah.
But like, I was older then. I don't know. It might just be a dream.
Unless it was in the townhouse. We did have stairs in that
Yeah,
townhouse.
but she was in kindergarten, so 5
she was
years old.
5.
It's
Yeah.
also given last week.
It was here.
This is true.
It's actually
It
here.
was at our new house. Yeah, I don't know. That's just like, I think about that a lot, but I don't know if
All
that's
right.
real.
What is your favorite memory of Bethany from like elementary school?
I don't know. I mean, she was always a good kid, so I was always, I never had to like, I would go to field trips and stuff with her, but I never had to go to like parent teacher conferences like I had to do with some of my other children. But I don't know. I'd have to think about that one.
My two favorites are every morning
Oh, yeah.
it would be Joshua wasn't born yet, or he was real super young, but I would take Caleb and Bethany to school, and they would always say, "Can we please stop by the store and get a oatmeal cream pie and bug juice?" And I would always say, "No, we're not stopping today. We're going straight to school." But every day I would stop and get them a bug juice and an oatmeal cream pie.
And it, like, still to this day, if I'm like feeling upset or, you know, just like the winter blues or whatever, I'm like, you know what I need? An oatmeal cream pie and a bug juice. And I'm
Do
25.
they would still make bug juice?
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
And I'll still go like to the store and get it. But I remember you'd be so mad. You'd be like, we're late. You guys are not doing what you're supposed to. You keep fighting. We're not going. And then we pass and you'd be like, ah.
Because we were always late because
I know.
we would get halfway to school and Caleb wouldn't have his shoes on, or he would left his book bag at home
Dad,
or
I
whatever.
forgot to get dressed.
And then my second favorite memory of Bethany as a elementary school is she would, like, especially around Christmas time or whatever, she would walk into the kitchen with like a paper clip with like fuzz on it or something and say, "I'm going to give this to my teacher." And I would say, "You're not giving that to your teacher."
And-
She would love that. Or it'd be like bubble gum with like, you know, a button off of a shirt or something.
But now being a teacher, those are my favorite gifts. Can I tell about the gift I was going to give Uncle Daniel?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, Uncle Daniel, if you're listening, I love you so much. But for Christmas one year, I bought this huge book. It was like probably 500 pages. It was like a giant word search book. And I spent months. Do you know the story?
Yeah.
Oh, I spent months doing each word search. Like I did them because I knew what he wanted for Christmas was a fully done word search book. And then when I went to give it to him, Dad was like, "You are not giving that to your uncle." And all my months of like word search and trying to get it finished were ruined because he wouldn't let me give him
I don't remember not letting you do that. I just remember I wouldn't let you give your teachers like half-eaten apples and just stuff like that. But I don't remember. I don't know why I would have not let you. I mean, that would have been perfect for Dangle. Like, give him something he can't use because it's already been done. I would have loved for you to give him something.
I do remember things like when we would be in Chick-fil-A or something and there would be a homeless person there. And I remember you would start crying.
Yeah.
Because you were so sad that that person was homeless and you would beg me or Dad to buy them some food, which, we would or whatever. But I mean, you were just so tenderhearted and you wanted, one time you wanted to bring a homeless person home with us and we were like, we can't really do that, but we can buy them a chicken sandwich. And
I'm still like that though.
You were always had that tender heart.
All right, let's talk about high school.
Oh, we didn't get along well in high school, but the Luke Bryan thing was probably my most memorable.
Was that high school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were 15 or 16.
Yeah.
So Bo thought he was going to be the best dad ever and get Bethany tickets to the Luke Bryan farm tour in Tennessee. And this was, I can't remember the year. It's been probably 10 years ago. It just showed up on my memories the other day. But it was in October, but it was still hot. And we went, Bethany and I went. So the deal was he got the tickets, but I got to enjoy the experience with Bethany. Well, I was like, oh, this is great. And I did. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But we got there at like 10 in the morning and we stood the whole time until about midnight that night because we had to stand in line for hours. And I mean, it was so crowded. We actually were right up by the front of the stage. So we got a good view, but we also couldn't move in our arms. We were like, we couldn't raise our hands to cheer. We couldn't
go to the bathroom.
Couldn't go to the bathroom. Couldn't go get anything
your spot
to drink.
would get taken, yeah.
And some guy tried to hit on you and I almost punched him in the face.
I do not remember that.
I do. I said, do you realize she's 15? Turn around and watch the show. And so that was probably my favorite memory.
What was yours?
Honestly, the biggest thing I can remember, and I mean, you were older, so this was probably when you were 17 or 18, well, maybe 16, I don't know. But I remember when we went to Mississippi to get your car. We had bought a car from the dealership that Mama worked at or whatever. And coming home, you were driving. And do you remember this?
Yeah.
You were driving. I was in the back seat, and all of a sudden the cars ahead, all you see were brake lights everywhere. I mean, people were driving off in the median, off like everywhere. And you ended up navigating your brand new car through like probably 4 cars. Like you ended up ahead of like 4 or 5 cars that had stopped, but you like made your way all the way through them.
Yeah.
And I knew then you were the real deal when it comes to driving, because I would have probably totaled that car out. I mean, it just out of nowhere, we were doing 80 miles an hour and then all of a sudden everybody just stopped.
It was like one of those things where there was a curve. It was like a curve, but everyone was stopped. But it was like where you couldn't see like a mile ahead of you. You could literally just see like a few feet because of the curb. But it was like, they were going off into the shoulder of the road and we had to like go through them. But do you remember there was like a police officer with the lights on like 300 feet before that, where they were like warning people, but they hadn't gone back to where we were. Yeah, that was terrifying.
And then the other thing that comes to mind is you and Mom used to fight like cats and dogs. Mm-hmm. And I would always, I knew something was going on when you would come in and go, Dad, whose side are you on? And then Mom would come in and go, tell me I'm right. And I would say, can y'all just go fight somewhere else? Leave me out of it. I don't want to be a part of it. And that went on for like 4 years, 5 years.
Now we're best friends though.
Yes, we are.
Thank God. All right, now let's bring Eric into this.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Well, hang on. One more pre-Eric thing. So one of my other core memories of Bethany is we had moved to Kentucky. She had stayed in Knoxville, and she had gone to school and gotten an associate's degree in business. And she was working at a retail store. I won't say which one. And she called me one day and she was like, they want me to upsell people. Like if somebody comes in, they want me to sell the most expensive package. And she said, Mom, I can't do that because I look at some of the people that come in and they have these young children that want this service done. And I know that we have one for $20, but they want me to sell the $50 one. So she said, I'm telling them about the $20 one. And I don't know if you weren't getting, I don't think you were getting in trouble, but like you weren't getting the bonuses or something. I don't know. And I said, honey, if that's your heart, you're never going to make it in business because that's what business is. And so a few other things happened in her life and she just decided to do a reset. And she came to Kentucky and lived with us for a little while for you had like
2 years.
I know, but your reset was about 2 months. So like for 2 months, we didn't make you work. We didn't make you.
I was a disaster, to be honest.
we just wanted you to focus on yourself, focus on your plans, what you wanted to do, get some things sorted out back in Knoxville. And then you decided you wanted to be a kindergarten teacher or a teacher, elementary. And I mean, that's just been watching you blossom into that has been just amazing. And so I just really am glad that you had that opportunity to reset and find what you really wanted to do and not be stuck in an industry that you probably would have been miserable.
And I think if I wouldn't have come to Kentucky, I don't think I would have been a teacher. I would have stayed on this path of going into business, which I didn't want to do. But I think with being able to like reset and then being able to think like, okay, what do I really want to do with my life? Because that's like, it's such a hard time being that age because everyone's like, okay, what are you going to do the rest of your life? So it's really scary to like decide on something. But I'm so glad I decided.
Well, and everybody is so, and I know you have to make a living, but everybody's so money driven. But I hope that Dad and I have always instilled in all of you that you've got to find what you're going to love doing for the rest of your life, whether you're making $20 an hour or $100 an hour. If you pick something for money and you don't enjoy doing it, you're just going to be miserable for the rest of your life. So I'm just kind of glad that, y'all have that. You have the good work ethic, but you also know that money is not everything and you have to do something that's going to be fulfilling for you.
Yeah, this is definitely not for the money, but
so
it is
during that reset, we're going to entry into Eric. So in 2017, I took a job and I only worked there for about 6 months. And I've always wondered why God put me there for 6 months. Because immediately into the job, I'm like, this is not for me. But I met somebody there. Her name was Stacy. And I loved Stacy from the minute I met her. There was something about her. She was very
positive.
She's very positive, very friendly,
happy.
She was just amazing. And we got to be really good friends. So that was in 2017. And after I left there, she and I remained friends. We still did things together and had dinner and all the things. Well, fast forward to this reset was in 2020.
Yes.
Yeah.
So 2020-ish is when Bethany came back up to Kentucky, had the reset. And then Stacy was helping Bethany and me work through some things. And Stacy and Bethany got to be really good friends. And then I knew that Stacy had a son Bethany's age that I really liked. But Bethany wasn't quite ready for another boyfriend just yet. But anyways, one night Stacy and I kind of arranged for an evening for Bethany and I to go visit her. And all I said was, please make sure Eric's at home. I said, I just want her to meet him. I want him to meet her. I said, I just think she needs she needs to know that not all guys are trash. And I just really want her to meet Eric. So we went to Stacy's house and played cards with Stacy and her husband, and Eric came down and didn't say much, but played with us.
But he was sexy.
But he played with us for like 2 hours. So Eric, tell me about that night. Did you know that your mom and I had I told her not to let you go anywhere?
I didn't, but at that time, there wasn't really a night I was out of the house. I stayed home a lot, and to preface this, my mom had introduced me to Bethany prior to this and was asking me to be the gentleman that I am, take Bethany on dinner date show that all guys aren't terrible. And of course, I said no.
He said, no, I don't want to do that.
I was like, I'm not doing this arranged date deal. But
He ain't doing no charity work.
Yeah.
I said, that sounded like a drag. But as soon as I met Bethany that night, playing cards, having fun, I knew that I thought she was cute. And I thought, might as well try and get a second date. Even though that wasn't really a date. But
Yeah. And Eric tells me all the time, he'll, whenever I'm like, I didn't even know if you liked me. And he'll say, well, I wore my best flannel. I'm like, I didn't know that was your best flannel. I didn't know what your closet looked like.
I did try to dress him to impress.
Well, you did, apparently.
I did.
So then I met Eric when he came up for Bethany's 21st birthday party.
Which I was so nervous for you to meet him. Remember, I was like, okay, Dad, like, he's really quiet. I don't know if he's going to say much, but like, I promise he has a personality.
Can we also preface that the birthday party was, what was the theme, babe? Could you remind me?
Our hot dog bar.
Yeah. And it wasn't like a large party. There wasn't 20 people walking around with a bunch of music playing.
I don't even know 20 people.
It was her family and my family.
Yeah.
But there was still a lot of us there.
Yeah.
They were playing. Was Uncle Eric there? Were they there or not? No. There were a lot of us there.
So when you met Eric.
So yeah, I met Eric and he was quiet. And if you know anything about our family, we like to
Be loud and
be
obnoxious.
loud, aggravate people, and tell people they're stupid. And
You
whatever.
do that. I don't do that.
Heather does that. But I will say that, so that weekend is when I met Eric for the first time. And I think I met Kenneth. I met Kenneth and Stacy already. I know I met Stacy, but I think I met Kenneth. But you have to tell this story. But we were all playing games like we always do when we get together. And we were playing spoons. And this is when you and your dad was not even playing it remotely the right way.
Yeah, he struggles with games. We
Tell the
love
story.
him, but
I can't even remember. You have to make like pairs or something or a game.
no,
Yes.
4 of a kind.
Yeah, so in spoons, if you know how to play spoons, you're either passing a card to your left or you're trying to collect all of the same type of cards. So like all 4s or all 6s or whatever.
So I'm sitting next to Dad. He's the one passing me the cards. Everybody else is going at Mach 10 speed. The entire deck's getting blown through. I'm sitting there getting maybe a card a minute. Everybody else picks up a spoon. Dad's still sitting there playing cards by himself, looking around.
All the
How does
spoons are going?
All the spoons are gone. How does everybody keep getting 4 of a kind? Not realizing that it's a game of speed once one person picks up a spoon. I look to him and I go, I look at the man. He has probably 12 cards in his hand in a 4-hand card game. And I say, what the hell, Dad? What are you doing?
Like the first words he's spoken the whole time, or what the hell, Dad?
I just thought that was so funny. I knew he was going to fit in at that moment. And then, I mean, the whole time y'all dated, you were coming. Eric would come up to Kentucky and spend a couple weekends. And
Yeah. It was hard because we were 4 hours away because he lived in Knoxville and I lived in Sparta. And so we would take turns like driving. I would drive down there if I had a weekend, which my job from where I was a substitute at that point, I could take off as many days as I needed. So I would sometimes take off like 3 or 4 days to have a long weekend. And I would go see Eric, and then Eric would come up and see me on holidays and stuff. So it was hard.
Because you were going to school too at that
Yeah, we were both in school. We were both working. Yeah.
I got guilted to come up, and then I got guilted again to stay longer.
What's your favorite memory of me?
While we were dating,
Yeah. Or it doesn't matter.
you're going to laugh, but it's the time we were all out at the pool having a great time.
Why is it always a bad memory?
It's not a bad memory.
Yes,
it's a
it
good memory.
is.
tell the
We're,
story.
we're having a great time. Bethany's at work. Oh,
That's
Heather.
awful.
The whole family's out barbecuing, having a drink at the pool. The
No,
greatest
not
day.
a drink. 12 million drinks
The
that are just straight
the
shots.
sun is shining. That's perfect weather for a pool day. Unbeknownst to me, my phone is getting blown up in the house, and I get I finally get my phone and see 20 missed calls from Bethany. I knew it was too late because at that time she was probably busting down the kitchen door to come tell us how scared she was that something had happened to seemingly all 8 of us at the same time.
Where were you at work? Weren't you at work?
Yes.
She was working.
She was at work.
No
and
one was
all
answering.
of our phones were inside because we were out at the pool, and she called Eric, she called you, she called me.
Called
she
Grandma
called
and Papa.
Eric, she called you, she called me, she called Eric,
She got home and she was like, I thought you were all in a ditch somewhere. So from that day on, anytime Bo and I would get in the pool, we would text or call Bethany and be like, hey, babe, your dad and I are getting in the pool. We're not going to have our phones on us. We're not dead.
So not one person thought to text me. Like, hey, she's going to get off in a little while and she's going to call all of us. But let's not tell her that we're not going to answer. Let's just let her
And we
for
were thinking-
45 minutes
Well,
worry.
I will say this. Here's one thing about Bethany. If she tries to call you or text you and you don't answer, the first thought in her mind isn't, oh, dad must be at
In the
work.
pool.
Oh, dad must be whatever. Her first thought is, dad is dead in the pool. He's dead in a ditch. He's dead in a wreck. He's dead at work.
It's a real
It's
issue.
always he's dead, or Heather's always dead somewhere. It's never, they might just be.
It's a sunny day and they have a nice pool and they're probably just hanging out at the pool and their
No.
phones aren't waterproof. So
Right.
Well, I'm glad all the love I gave you, and that's the memory you remember.
it's
It just
because,
shows you care.
yes, you
Yeah.
cared about him.
Right. So I just want to share this one last memory, and then, but I remember when Eric used to come up to visit you all the time. I remember one of the things he and I would talk about. We actually talked about this today, but he would always sit out, we'd grill together, and he said, one day I'm going to have a house, and you're going to be at my house grilling, and so to me, that was just cool that this weekend was that weekend that
Yeah.
all the family was here and Eric did all the grilling. It was his grill, his house, y'all's everything. And so to me, you going from that little girl that ran down the driveway to, you're an adult, even though you still will call your mom and say, why do these parents of these kids ask me questions? I'm still a
Just
kid
a
myself.
kid.
I know. They're like, what should I do? I don't know. I'm only 25. Yeah, I think this, I just feel like with our relationship, we've seriously grown from living with our parents and going to school to where now we're we have a house together. We have our careers where we've started. I mean, we've seriously
She still calls both of her parents for anything that requires a quote, parental,
real adult.
A real adult.
Yeah, I need a real adult. I'm not an adult. I'm just pretending.
I can always tell when y'all are arguing because Bethany will text me and say, Dad, what is this? Is it A or is it B? And I'll say, I don't know why. And eventually she'll say, it's because Eric says it's A and I say it's B. So I've started to learn those little traps and not to get in the middle of them.
Because Eric will always say, we'll be arguing, and he'll be like, ask your dad. I'm like, my dad's supposed to be on my side, not yours.
Not always. That's
Yeah.
not always the case.
So,
But all right.
Well, what's your favorite thing about me?
That you were born December 11th, 1999.
What's your favorite thing about me?
that I'm still the number one man in your life.
Oh my gosh.
You are.
We need to
You'll
end this
never be
now.
replaced.
We need to end this now.
Babe, what's your favorite thing about me?
That he's number two.
Yeah, I'm okay with being number two.
But do you think I'm beautiful?
I think you're beautiful. The love
Thanks.
of my life.
Thanks. All right.
All the things.
All right. We'll sing happy birthday to me.
Please do.
Once it's December, maybe.
Okay.
Thank y'all for listening. And if you're go to our Facebook page, I would love for you to comment below if you have a favorite memory of Bethany, happy birthday, whatever. And you guys have a good week.
All right. Love you, babe.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
See ya.
Bye. That's it for today's episode of Loving Our 25 to Life. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found something to take with you on your own journey.
Remember, love is an adventure. Sometimes it's wild, sometimes it's calm, but it's always worth it.
Yes!
If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with someone who might need a little inspiration.
And don't forget to follow along for more episodes and vlogs documenting our travels, life lessons, and hopefully plenty of laughs.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep loving life because it is the greatest adventure of all. Bye for now.